Objections at your workshops are not roadblocks. They're actually indicators. They're indicators of several things, and mostly your audience's lack of certainty, but also the fact that you didn't handle the objection before it ever came up. Now, in the workshop formula, that's a key piece to make sure that those objections are not ever even voiced because they've been handled in the context of your presentation. They should be handled in the beginning. Now, let's assume that you did that you handled the objections, the core objections of that your target market has, but you still run into some objections during the presentation. Now, there's a couple reasons why that might happen. You might be killing sacred cows, right? You might be attacking the competing paradigm, and really challenging the belief systems of the audience in a way that could potentially offend a lot of people or really turn them off. So I'm going to talk a whole lot more about that in the section called Poke, Don't Punch, where we really go into how to poke holes versus punching and really outwardly attacking competing paradigms. However, let's talk about when an actual objection does come up during a presentation, which should be far and few between when you've followed the workshop formula, but let's imagine that it does come up. The key to handling that is to reframe it. Number one, don't take it personally, right? It's not their fault that they have the belief that they have. It's likely been created over time by by society, right? And if you're challenging their beliefs through this presentation, then that's actually why you're doing the workshop in the first place. So look at it from a standpoint of they just don't know, right? And we don't, and almost as like a child, you don't attack a child, get angry with a child if they are sharing something that they're just not aware of, right? And so the first thing is empathy. Hey, that's a really great question, and I'm glad you brought it up. Um, and I understand where you're coming from because a lot of other people felt that same exact way. However, what they found is that when they X, is that they saw this. Now, I'm going to go a whole lot more into that in just a little bit. And in the interest of time, I ask that we don't take any questions here publicly. However, I will be available for any and all questions at the end. So let's hold on to future questions. So I did a couple of things there. I used feel, felt, found, right? So other people felt the same. I said, I didn't get upset. Didn't visibly get upset. A lot of times if you're not prepared for that, you can feel attacked, right? It's not about them attacking you. It's not about them attacking your value or your services value. It's about them just not knowing yet, right? And not having gone through the whole purpose of your workshop in the first place, which is to take them from where they're at, which could be is a totally different place, and take them to a place where now it makes total sense, right? You're giving them logical certainty and emotional certainty, and at least at that point they're saying, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like, they may not decide to move forward with you at that time, but at least you've shifted their belief system. So we start by not taking it personally. We use empathy and understanding. We use feel, felt, found, and then we shift to that you're going to go into that a lot more in just a little bit, because chances are you're going to handle that objection at some point there. And then the last thing is, shut down questions, because you don't want to be taking questions in the first place at most workshops unless it's in a larger half day, workshop like format where you're doing a lot of Q&A and you're doing a lot of role playing or things like that. All right, so this is how we take objections and turn them into opportunities by really acknowledging that objections are indicators for lack of certainty in your audience. It doesn't mean that they're attacking you. We have to reframe it for them and then continue with our presentation and give them the logical and emotional certainty they need to be able to see that it makes perfect sense and that it would be a great thing in their lives. All right, take care.